What's up, everybody? It's Dylan Ashcraft from Team Ellipsis here, doing another video for you guys for Nationals Week. This is the Tuesday video, and as you can see in the title, today we're talking about deciding on what to pick for your Nationals deck between meta versus non-meta. And by non-meta, I don't want to say something like, oh, play Chilled or set 2 Gohan. I said Go Tanks. Draft box Go Tanks. Play Go Tanks. That's not meta. No, what I'm saying is like picking something that's established tier 1, like Broly Zapes, Shenron Gogeta, Porunga Ramp, something like that, or picking something like this. It's currently on the screen now. I just want to talk to you about, like, so this is the meta deck. The easy meta deck is Shenron Gogeta, right? This is the go-to. Like, if I'm going to play a meta deck, this is the easiest one to gravitate towards, to right now. Last year it was Storm. This year I think it's Shenron. But there are other options. I talked about it in yesterday's video. I showcased 8 different decks that I think are heavy contenders for Nationals and stuff that you should test against. Now I want to talk to you about 2 decks that I believe are a little bit on the rogue side right now, but are still worth looking into. First of which is good old faithful in Dragon Ball Super is the red-blue color combo with the Hirudegarn leader. This deck has been around in some variation since set 4 first released. The bug has been putting in work since inception. Now, there's no sideboards today. It's just 50 cards that you tweak ideas. You can kind of see what I'm going for here. I'll go over, a little bit what I was thinking. So, and we'll get to the discussion at the end about if I think you should go rogue versus meta. So for the Hirudegarn deck here, we have primarily red cards in the deck because those are going to be your aggro cards, what you do the most damage with, and we'll talk about a cool, neat combo that I like a lot, actually. So 4 copies of Intensifying Power Trunks. This is your Chain Zeno Evolve target. The card's really strong in Hirudegarn. I'm missing a card in the deck. I don't know why I forgot it. This is just like Chomp the Trickster from yesterday. That's why you don't make videos when you're sick. But 4 copies of Intensifying Power Trunks, 3 copies of Saiyan Kaba. These 2 1-drops, we all know what they do. They help aggro the game down, and then Trunks has infinite versatility because he can evolve into Chain. Now we have 2 copies of Combination Attack. This card is okay. It's not amazing, but it is red-blue energy, and that's primarily what it's for. But it's an activate battle. You get to choose a 20 opponent's battle card with energy cost of 5 or less, bounce it back to the opponent to the owner's hand, and then you untap one. So it's good in certain situations if you need to survive something. And it's essentially only a 1 energy card. 2 copies of E-Sky because I really like having double strike in my decks. It just helps out to get there at the end. 3 copies of Fearless Pan because this is the card that's going to help you get to your kill turn or do your kill turn. And we'll get to why in a second. 3 copies of Hercule and Majin Buu, Friends Forever. Now, this card is primarily red and blue energy. However, it is a red card that can gain double strike from Fearless Pan that you can play for 1 energy. And it's cool because it allows you to bounce other stuff back. So, like, say, for instance, you used the Topo negate the turn before, or even during that turn. You can use the Hercule, play the Hercule Majin Buu, and then at the end of that turn, bounce back your Topo, so you have it for the next turn. 4 copies of Chain Attack Trunks. Card's just really, really strong overall. Always has been. 3 copies of Foreseeing Hit. Now, this card is probably what I would take out to replace with Digging Deep Vegeta, which should be in the deck. I don't know why I forgot to put that card. It's so strong when combined with Fearless Pan. But hit's in a weird spot right now. The card's still amazing, except that it gets hit by so many different counterplays that it's a little rough. So I would probably take him out of the main board, push him to the sideboard, and play 3 copies of Digging Deep Vegeta. Over here, we have 3 copies of Majin Buu the Reincarnator. This is one of my favorite cards from the draft box. So when you play it, you choose up to one red battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less in your drop and play it. So the play that you can do is evolve Chain Attack Trunks on top of Intensifying Power, play Buu from your hand, and then use Buu to play Fearless Pan. So then you have 3 double strikers innate without anything else already on your board, but you can always commit to other things because you're playing during your opponent's turn with Topo and the Majin Buu, so you could have 4 to 5 double strikers as well. Playing 2 copies of Topo, this card is insanely powerful right now. You just kind of tell your opponent to stop playing their turn, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. 3 copies of Dimension Magic, because there's a lot of stuff in the format that you need to negate outright. You just kind of can't risk them out-comboing you. Even as Herudagard, where you have a bunch of cards that you can combo, it's just not worth it. I did 3 copies of Minosha and Legs, so Minosha and then Wanderer, just because searchable blue energy is really good, and then searchable blue combo cards as well for the Hercule Blue. Just strong overall. 4 copies of Senzu Bean because you're playing an aggressive deck and you want to be able to just untap everything while you're going for your big kill turns. 4 of the second best legal super combo in the game. Paragus is a little better because you warp after you draw, but that's, not the point. 1 Unyielding because you want to untap stuff. 2 Zeno on the main board because this card's really good against apes. You chain Zeno their board, you get rid of all the apes, and you should be fine from that point, assuming they don't redraw all of their monkeys. However, this is, you can get bloodlusted on the chain attack, but it is something that you should have just in case. And then the 1 of Mira, just as your kill turn, as your go-to, just kill the opponent with Champa or the Isekai when you can. So yeah, I think this is an interesting deck. If you don't want to play a meta deck and you want to play something that your opponents will not be siding for most likely, I think this is one of the 2 decks that you can play. The other one, I think that not a lot of people are talking about, is Frieza Swap. Now, this build is most likely not correct. I haven't tested with it, but Marcel Russell and I were talking at the Last Chance Qualifier in Ohio, and he pulls out a Frieza Swap card and goes, I know this deck is good right now, but I don't want to build it, and I'm not sure how. Not how to build it, but how it's good. What it does to be good in this format. If you don't know what Frieza does, is you could take a life on the front side, look at the top 2, and add a red Frieza's Army to your hand. It's really good for filtering and finding your pieces, such as the 1, 2, 3, or 5 drop, as well as the secret rare and your super combo, because I believe the super combo is a red Frieza's Army. Should be. Yep, cool. And then on the backside, you can... What is this backside? It's been so long. I think you get to KO one of your red Frieza's Army cards, and then he gains 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Not as good, but the front side builds a lot of hand advantage, and then the Frieza chain itself is incredibly powerful. So 4 copies of After Image Technique, just because this is an all-around really good card in the meta right now. 4 of the 1-drop Frieza. This is how you start your chain. He's a free swap target, but he's not 10k, so unlike Bardock, he can't punch you for infinite value. And what he does, when you play him from your hand, you get to choose one of your opponent's, one of your red leader cards or red battle cards, and other than him, and they give him +5. So it allows your stuff to get really beefy. It allows a lot of really good early aggro with your leader as well. 2 copies of Gallic Cannon. I think this card is interesting in this deck because after you establish your chain, you can kind of just leave energy open. You don't, need anything anymore. And you're allowed, and you're able to manipulate stuff and reduce the attack and stuff of all your opponent's cards. 2 is that all you got? Oh god. Got an ice cube in my mouth. Sorry. 2 is that all you've got? Just to be able to neg U6 boards and be able to kill stuff right now. Good overall card, and it's a good overall around card, and it's a hard negate, which is nice. 4 copies of the 2-drop. This guy is a 2-drop 15k. He's typically not going to stay around for long. You're going to swap into him turn 2, attack with him, and then swap into the 3-drop. That way your cards just stay safe. 2 copies of E Supreme Kai, just like we talked about with Herudagard. You want to be able to kill stuff, and your leader can get big. every battle card in your deck except for the 1-drop can get big. So, Strike Force Jace. Card is your super combo. I mean, it's an obvious thing. Body Change Ginyu is an interesting card in the format right now. This card is super susceptible to counterplays. However, what the card does is it allows you to have a free 25 or 3-drop 25k body that you can hit your opponent with and potentially throw a Champa on, and then it lets you steal a card from your opponent. which is cool because you can take a Bardock Ape, or, assuming they don't have barrier, you can take other valuable 20k cards. You can take the Figure of Majesty from the Shenron deck, and you can just get a lot of random value out of it, and it's pretty cool. Double shot Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, like I talked about with the Gala Cannon, is after you establish your chain, you should have energy open. Be able to defend yourself and play stuff during your opponent's turn. And the reason this card is good is you can couple it with Fearless Pan, as well as the entire Frieza chain besides the 5-drop. They all get value out of the double strike. Topo gets value out of the double strike. Ginyu gets value out of the double strike. All of these cards, and then your leader too. Unlike Hirudegarn, you get a lot out of the Fearless Pan deck. Sorry, I had to look at something in the Hirudegarn deck real quick. 3 copies of Topo. It's another hard to gate. It's 1 energy, or 2 energy, and it does so much for you that it's ridiculous. And again, coupled with Fearless Pan, the card is insane. 5-drop Frieza, card is broken, but respectively so. So what it does is it negates any card played, so it gets around Deflect, because it is not a counter skill, it just activates in the counter window. So when your opponent Gogeta 7s you, you just go, okay, I'll crit 1 life. I don't lose my hand. And you're golden. And it's a 25k double strike crit, which can be boosted by the 1-drop. Does a lot of good things for you right now. Frieza Secret Rare. It's probably the best red secret rare you have access to. You're not charging green energy, and you're not playing green cards in your deck, so you can't use Scramble. And the SS4 one is, not playable for you, unless you get the 8. But if you get the 8, wow, that's a weird game then. And then we have a small blue package. So my teammate Tyler used to play this deck a lot. He always splashed 4 Senzu and I think it was 3 Whis' Coercion. Now, Whis' Coercion could honestly become Jocko. That way you have a better 8 matchup, because I don't think you need another hard negate in the deck. However, I put Whis' Coercion in there just as a foundational card. Yeah, it was, it's pretty fun. And then 2 copies of Mirror Assault from the Skies. This is your overwhelm target. It's probably the best one for you in this deck, because it draws you a card, and then it doesn't tap you out. So assuming, it's your last energy, you do get to untap something during your opponent's turn, and allow you to play the game and survive. So, yeah, I think these are 2 decks that you should consider if you don't want to play a meta deck. Like a top-tier established meta deck. If you do, however, again, I would consider Shenron. I would consider watching the video I posted yesterday on the channel talking about the meta decks in the format and stuff you should test against. Yeah, so moving on to the conversation between should I play meta, should I play rogue? It comes down to preference. I think at Nationals this is not the time to be cute and play something strange, and this is coming from me, the guy who played Clash of Fates Bardock at the Atlantic City Pro Play Tour. I think this is the event that you should take if you really want to do well. I think you take a meta deck, and you take the meta deck that you are the most comfortable with, and it feels the strongest and safest in your hands, right? If you don't know how to play a Shenron deck, I wouldn't take Shenron. If you don't know how to play Broly, but you know how to play Janemba, then take Janemba. However, if you want to catch opponents off guard, and you want to potentially do some crazy stuff that they're not prepared for, games 1 and 2, or games 1, the very least, I would play something like Red-Blue Hirudegarn or Mono-Red Frieza Swap. Or Red-Blue Frieza Swap, or Frieza Swap in general. They're both really strong decks. They've always been strong, especially Hirudegarn. And they have the tools to get you where you need. It's just going to be a little bit of an uphill battle at times, especially, if you come across somebody who is prepared for your matchup. But, yeah, I hope I was able to help you guys out with anything today. I hope these 2 decks that I showed you gave you a little bit of inspiration. There's other decks that are both meta / kind of floating in between that I want to talk about later in the week, like Mono Red Gogeta BR. I think that deck is really good right now and is a sleeper pick for people who haven't. I also think the red-green variant of that deck is really good too. And then I have to talk about the Gogeta ramp stuff, because that deck got a lot of new support. So, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment. I'm going to try and have a couple more interesting videos. It's not just me talking at you guys with a deck list in the background for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. At the very least one of those days. I'm also going to try and do a vlog at Nationals. That way you get to see my perspective from leaving my house to the airport, to my layover, to finding Jordan and the Shenron Slayer boys and the other Ellipsis guys, and have a grand old time. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.